Welcome back to part 2 of the Red Pill Chronicles. Today we're taking a look at a video by Milo Stewart. Let's not keep her waiting. Enjoy.
Over the years of doing YouTube, I've often thought back on the footprint that I leave online. I notoriously rewatch my videos to analyze how I present myself.
Well, that's a very mature thing to do. Rewatch your videos and see where you went wrong. Well, I've rewatched some of my videos in the past and I feel like I've gone too far, but guess what? In the end, I keep them up, so it's a learning and a reminder of how far I've come. You know, it doesn't mean you have to delete all your videos. It just means that you should learn from them and always have them up so you can remind yourself of what's happened and what you've gone through and how you've grown as a person. That's what I truly believe about video content.
I tend to be very critical of what I post online, but unfortunately, I tend to do a lot of that critical thinking after I've already posted a video and not when I get the idea for a video, like when I should actually be critical.
Now, Milo here is bringing up a great point. Now, if you are a video content creator and you are in the critical thinking mindset and you want to get into that content, I'm going to tell you from experience here, you need to watch your videos before they air. Now, I'm going to tell you a little personal story. Now, I made a video, right? I rendered the whole thing out in 1080p in Sony Movie Studio, right? And I was showing it to one of the people I know, one of my friends, and guess what? It was all backwards. All the things were out of order, my audio responses. So it's great to actually look over it for editing errors and actually look it over and say, should I have said that thing? And go back and re-record. Wow, that's very redundant, but guess what? That is very important. Watch your content and look out for errors, because guess what? This has happened to me a couple times where I get the audio tracks very out of order. Now, Milo makes a great point here, and I will commend her on this one. She really has taken the red pill and really has some sense in her right now. She's really evolved from the 17-year-old girl we all knew back then.
Given the clarity of time and of maturing in many ways, I really regret the ways that I've handled my YouTube channel, especially in response to the many anti-feminist reaction videos that I've been getting for a year and a half. I caught myself using many logical fallacies.
Well, Milo, it's always great to admit when you're wrong or you've used logical fallacies in the past. That really takes a brave person to admit when they're wrong. I really think that's kind of cool. And know it, keep up the great work. You have the potential to be a great content creator in the future.
And that I noticed the loudest and the biggest voices critiquing me were calling me an it, or making jokes about my appearance or my speech patterns. And so I put up this brick wall that precluded me from being open to other criticisms. When critiquing my thought processes doesn't mean guilt by association, just because the loudest voices critiquing me have been outright transphobic. I continuously failed to distinguish between reasonable critique and unreasonable trolls that I should have ignored. And this has led me to saying a lot of really regrettable things online.
Well, I mean, that is true, Milo, but when you say stupid stuff on the internet, believe me, people are gonna make fun of it, so maybe it's better to think about what you're going to say before saying it, and you have said that. But, I mean, if you had done that in the past and had made reasonable arguments for non-binaries or trans people or whatever, we wouldn't be in this nightmare or this mess, you know? You wouldn't have to apologize here.
I failed to see the problematic anti-Semitic views of people like Gazi Kodzo because I assumed the people who were critiquing him all just thought that he was racist against white people. I apologize for being so ignorant and for closing myself off from a lot of needed critique.
Know it? There you go, kiddo. You've really grown in maturity right here. You admitted that including Ghazi in a lot of your videos was wrong. You know, linking his video to, I think it was like, white people can't be racist or whatever, or all people are racist or whatever. I don't know. But, yeah, that really shows a lot of maturity. It's honestly refreshing that you admit that having Ghazi on the channel, which, I mean, you didn't have him vocally on there, but linking him down below, then it's wonderful you admit that that was wrong. And I think that maybe you might not think that it was because of, him being racist towards whites or whatever, she may not believe that black people can be racist towards, black people, even though they totally can, but she really does admit that it was anti-Semitic, and as long as she admits that that's wrong, then totally, it's totally okay, and that's cool in my books.
Having to constantly be on the defense because of so many who only want to critique me for my identity or my appearance is exhausting. And I'm trying to get better at not becoming defensive when I shouldn't. I've definitely said things on this channel that I no longer agree with. Pride was 100% not a safe space for me as a non-passing trans asexual person. Like, people were literally walking around displaying their fetishes, and it was just really not cool. Do you ever just feel kink-shamed by your 17-year-old self?
Milo, I do agree with you on one thing. I think that if you don't want to go to a place that is really over-fetishized, you shouldn't go, but at the exact same time, you do bring up a point where do you draw the line at pride parades? I mean, seriously, I've seen a lot of photos where it's a lot of messed up kinky shit, so, you kinda did make a good point there, so maybe you should take that with, a grain of salt, we got some real good salt mines, so, yeah, I mean, she does make a good point. I mean, seriously, at some pride parades, it's really friggin' messed up. People walking around with their dicks out or whatever, assless chaps, It's very kind of messed up, and I do see where 17-year-old Milo was coming from, but at the exact same time, I do agree that if you don't want to go see something kinky, then you shouldn't go. So, I kind of take both sides on this one.
And I've definitely said many things that I don't necessarily disagree with, but I disagree with how I presented my ideas. By being afraid to call ourselves racist, we are failing to acknowledge how our biases contribute to systematic racism. There is no right or wrong way to experience a gender. That is because we all experience gender in a different way, even though we may use similar or the same labels. To quote myself from an article I was interviewed for last October, I don't really have the energy to try to broaden the perspectives of people who generally don't try at all to inform themselves about the community. There are a lot of YouTubers who do that, and I feel like that's not really interesting to me. I had such nice aspirations when it came to how I wanted to handle my YouTube channel, but this wasn't how I was actually handling my channel.
Noah, it's good to acknowledge your failures, as I've said in the past. Now, I think Milo really acknowledging how she really fucked up royally on some things. She's gonna get to the trolls in a second, but guess what? I think that she was making content for the trolls unintentionally by addressing them. Now, if she wanted just to make a channel about what she wanted to do, that would have been fine. I would have never had any gripes against that. But when she made these response videos to the trolls, it really disenfranchised the legitimate people who were trying to say to Milo, hey, I think that's a little bit wrong. So yeah, I think that it's great that she's acknowledging when she fucked up on her channel. And I think that if she's willing to improve in the future, then that's great. I mean, do what you want, kiddo.
It makes sense why a majority of my viewers are trolls, because that's who I was making videos for over a good year or so. I was making videos for the exact opposite audience that I thought I was making videos for, and because of that, it pushed away a lot of my genuine subscribers. I apologize to all my genuine subscribers whom I ignored when I should have been making videos for you this whole time. I believe in the principle that activism is not impactful unless it's making someone angry, but I got really good at just making people angry without caring if I had another way to measure my impact. I have since privated a couple of videos if I thought I made them for the wrong purposes, or if I thought they might spread misinformation.
Milo, I disagree with you. Wow, I've gone all this video without disagreeing so far. But anyways, I disagree with you about deleting or privating these videos. I believe that you should have these public and that you should retitle these Learning from My Mistakes, so people can learn that you are not perfect and that you had to go through a lot to become the person you are today. Now, I think that you should retitle these videos, as I I said in the past, but I don't think you should delete these videos. These videos are learning steps and learning opportunities for other YouTubers to learn about your mistakes so they can learn not to make your mistakes, you know? So I disagree with you there.
I kind of had this internal conflict over how much educational content I can make about my identity without sending like the wrong messages that trans people have to explain their identities, or that cis people, deserve an explanation. But I think I really do want to get back into making educational content, because I realize that the people who want to watch those type of videos are already open to learning and broadening their perspectives. I think making that type of content requires less energy than constantly having to defend myself without educating. I want to become more patient in my interactions online and as a person in general. I want to become more open to listening and learning from critique. I want to make videos for the audience that I hope to foster.
That is true. I mean, if you're more patient in life, then guess what? You can critically analyze things versus going in all gun-ho, guns a-blazing, you know? So, I agree there that you should be a little bit more patient in how you deal with videos and stuff. I think that educational content is way more better for your type of channel than trying to defend yourself all the freaking time. Like, seriously, you shouldn't be making response videos to your critics unless it's totally necessary. I think that if you make a video every day responding to somebody that you disagree with, like that they disagree with you, then it creates a lot of wasted content that you could have used making educational content. So you're correct on that, and I agree with you on that one.
I'm done pandering to trolls.
Well guys, that was an interesting video. Milo's obviously matured as a human being, so yeah, let's see how many more people get red-pilled. I'll always be there to actually encourage people to think more critically, and if people want to take the red pill, then I'll be there to encourage them to do so. So anyways guys, please like and subscribe and do whatever. Have an awesome week, weekend, whatever, and bye.